What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Forza Horizon 3 and another Blizzard Mountain Descent. My vehicle today is the Toyota Hilux AT38. It now has a PI of 920, so it's just into S2 class. I put the 6.2 litre V8 in this car. We've seen it a lot. It is supercharged, however. Decided to go for something a little bit different than, twin turbo. Has 1014 horsepower, 1141 torque, and weighs 1722 kilograms. So it is very, very heavy. It's the heaviest car by almost 200 kilograms. So how will the Toyota Hilux AT38 do on our Blizzard Mountain Descent course? Let's find out. Alright, here we go for run number 1 with our Toyota Hilux AT38. Currently at the top of the table we have the Chevrolet Camaro and the Dodge Viper ACR with a 209.296. Where do I think this is going to come? Well, I really do not think it's going to be going up against those top cars. We have seen some surprises in this series. I mean, the Camaro, for one, quite a surprise seeing that so high up. But yeah, I don't really think this is gonna quite be good enough for the top of the table. Where I expect it to be is kind of a little bit hard. We haven't had anything quite like this go. I mean, the closest thing I'd probably say is the Jaguar F-Pace, and that is down the bottom of the order in 18th place out of 20 cars. So I think it's at like a 214. So potentially around about there is where I'm thinking we're going to be. If it can go quicker, that is always good. Now, one thing I'm noticing straight away, or a couple of things I'm noticing. First of all, the brakes are actually really good for a car that's so bloody heavy. The brakes are actually really damn good. I was not really expecting that. However, at the same time, it feels heavy. It really does. Driving this around, it feels like a really heavy car. I couldn't change the. I don't believe I could change the suspension for this car. However, with the sort of vehicle it is, it's going to have off-road suspension from standard anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I also couldn't change the tyres, but once again, I would presume that those are already, snow tyres, especially with this being like an Arctic-based car. I imagine the tyres would be fine for dealing with snow. But yeah, it's straight away I can feel that this car's it just feels really heavy. It feels very boat-like. It's floating around quite a lot because of that weight. It's got a lot of power, of course, 1014. However, that weight is meaning that the acceleration is also not great. It isn't the nicest thing to drive because it's so heavy. It's just floating around a little bit. However, on this first run, we've actually gone pretty quick, I think. Yeah, we have a 2:11.965. That's a pretty quick time, especially for a first run, and it's a lot quicker than I was expecting it to go. Alright, so a 2:11.965 is the current time for the Hilux. I didn't feel like that was too quick, to be honest. I did not feel like it was very quick. However, it was, basically, it was quick. Well, I mean, it's 2:11 is, I mean, it's way up halfway up the leaderboard, I'm fairly sure, around about halfway anyway. Maybe not quite in the top 50%, but that is a reasonable time. A lot of the cars are in the 2:11 kind of area, so to that be at that point already is quite surprising. I mean, obviously this car is suited to this sort of thing, so maybe that's why it's doing so well. Especially, it's even more suited than any other off-road car because this is made for snow. It's an Arctic car. At least I imagine. If it's got Arctic in the name, I imagine it's kind of made for this sort of thing. So, I suppose it's not too unexpected that it's gone pretty damn quick, but it just doesn't feel that quick. Like I was saying with the brakes are great in this. The turning is not great. The all-wheel drive, I mean, all the cars in this series are all-wheel drive, but with this being so heavy and all-wheel drive, it really seems to understeer a little bit. I'm going to actually slow down a little bit over that jump because I went a little bit too far out last time. So let's go through here. This thing is doing a pretty damn good job. I mean, we're keeping up with the Ghost time, which is a bloody quick time, a 2:08.5 for the Ghost. So yeah, this is, I mean look, the Ghost is literally just running over the flag there. We're just behind the Ghost right now. I don't know how this thing is going so quickly. We could even see this thing going pretty far up to the top of the table. I mean, I wouldn't expect it. Oh, we've got that a little bit wrong around there. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I think also it deals with the jumps and the bumps quite well. I mean, some of these bumps, it's not even noticing them because it's just used to them. It doesn't have big bounces up on the landings because it's just used to these jumps. With that second run there, we are now into the low 211s, 211.064. So right now we're looking at 8th place. That's pretty decent, but I think we could do even better. Alright, final run for the Hilux. Can we go quicker than a 211.064? It is possible. We're in 8th place right now. I definitely think we can go quicker. There are parts where I wasn't too great. I think it is just how this car deals with the bumps and the jumps that really makes it so quick. Because it's made for this sort of thing, and because the ride height is so high, it's obviously set up just really well from standard. Because I mean, it's pretty much it's set up for this sort of thing. You know, I mean, I don't tune the cars for this series. I just drive them how they are stock. But the thing is, this car from stock is probably tuned in a way that it's, you know, tuned in a way so that it's good at this sort of thing, because this is what its job is basically. Its job is to drive around, from what I would imagine, in snow and ice, and you know, that's what we're doing here. So I imagine that's why it's so quick. Even though the acceleration and the top speed is not great, it makes up for it in braking, definitely. Over the bumps, probably the best car over the bumps, because look, it just doesn't get jumped up. Like if you go over that jump, or even this jump here with a lot of cars, it'll bounce them back up in the air. This car, no, just stays planted on the floor because after it jumps, because the suspension is just used to it. Even though yeah, we put off-road suspension on all the cars, this car's off-road suspension is its normal suspension. It's kind of weird to say, but maybe that is why it's so quick. Maybe that is why. The car is just used to it basically. Okay, so we're coming up to this twisty section here. Let's try and get things a little better through here. We end up coming a little wide and then getting a bit bad out of here. It seems to have issues with those bumps there, but I mean, all cars do really, so I guess that's to be expected. We could be seeing a pretty quick time this time. I feel like that was a pretty decent run. Are we gonna, how quick are we? Oh god, oh, have we gone quickest? Holy shit. Okay. That's a little bit unexpected. A 209.163. That puts the Toyota Hilux in first place. I remember at the start of this I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be anywhere near at the top. It's probably gonna be at the bottom. Well, it's at the top. Only by just over 1/10 of a second, but it's still at the top of the leaderboard. The reasons, I'm pretty sure it's just because this car's made for this sort of thing. I don't think there's another car in this game that is more made for this than this car is. So I reckon that's why it goes so quickly. That is a bit of a surprise, I will be honest. That is a little bit of a surprise. But anyway, there we go, guys. That is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Comment what other cars you'd like to see go down the Blizzard Mountain Descent course, and I will see you guys in the next video.